Hey guys, welcome back to the Hands-On channel. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to replace a door handle. This happens to be a 2007 Toyota Matrix, but it's pretty much the same on the Pontiac Vibe and several other years that are this same car. So stay tuned, we're going to get set up and I'll show you what you need to do this job. Alright, basically we're going to need a panel tool. You actually don't have to have this. You could pull it off by hand or with a screwdriver, but it's safer if you have a panel removal tool. Get those at AutoZone or O'Reilly's for fairly cheap. You're going to need a small screwdriver for prying one of the little covers off. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver, and you'll also need a T30 Torx and some sort of a way to run that T30 Torx. And also you'll notice I put a little electrical tape on there. That's so I don't drop this down the door opening. I've already done this on the other side, and I dropped it down the door opening, so that's how I learned that. But anyway, stay tuned. I'll show you what bolts to take out. Okay, first of all, we got to get the door panel out of the way, and to do that there's a couple of screws here. There's one hidden behind a little plastic tab right here. So we'll take this screwdriver. You'll see a little opening in it to stick your screwdriver in, and trying to keep you guys in frame here and do all this with one hand is a little difficult. There we go. I just wasn't in it deep enough there. All right, so there's a screw behind there. And there's another screw down in this little tray opening, and you have to pull this out. This thing slides out of there. I'm going to set you down and take those out. Okay, we're free. So now we just have to kind of lift up, push up on the top of the door here, and clear the lock or the latch mechanism. Okay, there we go. We're free. Now there's a wire on here. There's a wire in there for your power windows. You'll have to disconnect that. I think you have to use a little small screwdriver to poke that clip so that you can free it out of there. There we go. Okay, we're free, so we can set the door panel down. So we have to get back behind here. So we're going to peel this back. Try not to get it on your hands because it'll surely stick to you as I get it on my hands here. Okay. There's a plug right here you have to take out. This is for your power locks. You just push down on this little tab and pull. Okay, that pops right out. Now keep pulling this on down. Give yourself some room to work here. All right. So now that that's out of the way, I'm going to pull this wire through just to get it out of the way here. Just remember how all that goes when you go back. Okay, so what we're going after is the door handle mechanism up inside of there. You don't have to take this Torx screw out. There's another one you have to take out that's actually hidden behind this guy right here. These are the only bolts you need to take out of this. This is where that Torx comes in. So let's get on with that. Take them all the way out. So now we need to slide that out of the way, and the way to do that is you push this button right here in, and you kind of push down on that at the same time. So there's like a plastic ring around that. You can push that in, and I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see it here. I have to grab my flashlight to light it up inside of there. I can't tell if you can see it there or not, but there's a little blue plastic fork that goes down over the lock mechanism and slides into place. we want to make sure and get that back in as we're going back together, so just pay attention to that. Just push in on this and down here. And you don't have to slide it down very far, just far enough to where you can get to this torque screw that's holding the handle on. Okay. A little bit more. And that should get us there. And actually on this side it's a red fork, a red plastic fork. So I'm going to get a flashlight and show you guys what I'm talking about. And you can see that red fork, that has to go back on. There's a little knot or a little nubbin down in there that, and it's got a little knob on the end of it, and that fork sticks around that knob. It's the best way I can describe it. Hopefully you guys are seeing that. I can't tell, but anyways, the handle's out of, or the latch mechanism's out of our way for the most part. So what we have to do is go after that Torx bolt right there. We need to loosen that up and not drop it down the door if we can help it. So I'm going to push this all the way out of the way. There we go. And now we can see it clearly. We've got to get that Torx bolt out. So stay tuned, we'll get that done. I'm using the Torx bolt to kind of push out on this at the same time so that it pushes it out and the bolt stays in the hole. Now that we have that off, that's all that holds that door handle on there. So we should be able to pull back on this just like that. Pop the big end out first, and the small end, there we go. And you see that door handle, it wasn't broken all the way, but it was just about there. So I'll grab the new handle, we'll put that back on. Okay, when we install the new handle, we have to get around that little plastic lever. So we're gonna have to probably push that back with the screwdriver from the inside to get the door, the back part of the handle to go in. So let's get on with that. I'm going to try without it, but I think I'm going to have to move it looking at it. So we'll put the back end first, try to get up in front of it. And then get that in there, and see it won't go in. That's why I have to pry that little handle out of the way. Alright, so that little red lever's in my way, so now I'm going to try to get my screwdriver in here from the lock opening. Push it out of my way so that I can get all the way in like that, flat, and then push it all the way forward and make sure you're all the way forward. That last part's pretty hard to do. It caught me off guard on the first one and I thought I had it in, and then I was having a hard time getting this back button back on. So let me show you real quick how to put that on. And the way I've been doing it, I'm trying not to drop this screw because I'm afraid that if I pull it through, I'll drop it down the door opening. So I've just been leaving it in the hole, although it can fall out, so you got to be careful. Okay, got my ratchet in place. This thing kind of snaps in. The front has to go in first. The fat part has to go in first. So I'm going to push it in like that. See if I can get my screw to start a little bit. There it went. That one fought me a little bit there, but we got it. Okay, so now just tighten up the screw. Doesn't need to be crazy tight because you're screwing into a plastic piece. You don't want to break it. Okay, now it's not time to test the door yet because we still haven't put the lock mechanism back in. You got to slide that back up. Now I'm not going to really be able to show you guys this because it'd be impossible for me to get my camera and my hands in there at the same time, but that red fork is fixing to come into play. So we're going to try to slide that lock mechanism back up in there, but we have to make sure that that red fork is lined up in the little knob inside of there, and I can't show you that. So you're just going to have to, on the other side it was blue, so it's a plastic fork that sticks down. You'll see it when you're trying to put this thing back together. That's going on backwards. Things are getting serious. Okay, it was pushed over a little bit. So just reach in there and line it up with your hand. Come back up until that plug goes back in the hole, and then come back over here, line these holes up just like that. Go ahead and get your screws started. Back up. Snug them at first, then come back and tighten them up good. I don't know what the torque specs are, just good and tight. Ratchet's messing up on me. Okay, so now our door handle is installed and back in place. Put this wire back through. Stick this stuff back on the best you can. And plug this back in. This is your door lock switch here, or your door lock plug, so make sure not to forget that. Plug that in, make sure it's plugged in well. Last thing, snap the door panel back on, but don't forget to plug your power window in. The way you get this on, you start at the top, stick it in the slot, pull it down till it's around the door handle. You can feel when your plugs are over the holes. You just have to kind of feel for it. And if once you feel you're in, you just start snapping it in. Make sure you're all the way snapped in. Put your tray back in, or your grab handle, and it kind of snaps in a strange way, so you'll feel it. You'll feel what I'm talking about when you do it. Okay, there's two little plugs down here. You got to get those lined up. There we go. Okay. Screw it back in, not super tight. It's good and snug. Don't forget this one up here by the door handle. Screw it back in, same deal, good and snug. Flip the tab closed there, the little cover, screw cover. Make sure everything's out of your way. And let's give it a test. And that is how you install a brand new door handle on a 2007 Toyota Matrix or a Pontiac Vibe.